I'm at Singapore Changi, about to experience a long-haul flight in a low-cost, no-frills carrier, but when what the airline calls business class aboard the Pokemon plane. Less comfortable is the 0600 hours alarm call on a dawn cab ride to Changi Airport. Now in a moment I'll find out just how premium the low-cost branch of Singapore Airlines is. It's called Scoot, and I'm going to fly from Singapore to Sydney on board the unique Pokemon-themed Boeing 787 Dreamliner in ScootPlus, the airline's less premium offering. Scoot leave from Terminal 1 at Changi, where much more comfortable carriers fly in overhead on the Kangaroo route. Now I knew I'd have problems at check-in, and so it proved. The Scoot website is woeful, and it proves impossible to enter passport details or frequent flyer information. At least I thought I'd got it to save meal details in advance. Oh, how wrong I was. After failing to check in at the machine, I trotted up to the ScootPlus dedicated check-in desks, who equally couldn't check me in until a supervisor with the right login was tracked down. Now even Crestflyer Goals can't access a lounge, so with an hour to kill I wandered over to the Jewel, the airside shopping centre at Changi. It has an exclusive to Jewel brewery from local beer maker Tiger, and I could also visit the Pokemon Center, the first outside Japan, and it's also got inter-terminal trains that brush past the waterfall. Had to take my time going airside though, as I tangled with the dreaded Singapore immigration form. Used to be a breeze at Singapore. You wave a British or Australian passport and just wander through. Now there's a multi-page visa form with tortuous questions, and if you do it in the queue, it takes a good half hour to wade through, and equally, you have to leave via machines that rarely work. At least I finally got airside and got to go into the butterfly garden. And then I wandered up to the gate where there's the security check. Now despite it being listed as a benefit, there's no priority boarding for ScootPlus passengers, and I'm forced to join the huddled masses. Scoot has unveiled its new Pikachu Chet in collaboration with Pokemon, and I was delighted to give it a try. It goes on what are called air adventures. It has special flights bi-monthly to Tokyo, Narita and Seoul. Headrests and even the luggage bins get a Pikachu Jet theme, as do the crew, who are all dressed for the part. Now the chance to fly in a large premium economy seat for a bargain price isn't to be sneezed at, nor is that rarest of things a daytime flight to Sydney, leaving Singapore at a comfortable 10 in the morning. ScootPlus offers larger seats in economy class with 38 inches of pitch and a width of 22 inches. This compares with a squeezy 31 inches of pitch and 19 inches of width in regular economy. ScootPlus cabin features 35 seats in a 2-3-2 layout. It's sold as business class, but has a seat that really does look exactly like premium economy. It comes with a meal, drink and blanket, unlike the back of a bus, but no in-flight entertainment, no lounge access and miserly frequent flyer miles. Pre-flight drinks consist of just a tub of water. Seats are basic with just a 40-degree recline controlled by manual buttons, and the armrests are showing some signs of wear and tear. But look at the Pokemon Jet, that's why we're here. The livery itself has a white background with flower petals and the characters of Pikachu, Pichu, Psyduck and Lapras depicted on the fuselage. There's also a Pokemon hiding on the side of the wings and Pokemon spread throughout the aircraft.
I'd like to introduce myself in time together with flight deck first officer Mr. Nigel, the cabin crew in charge, Ms. Nancy, the rest of the expertise. It's our pleasure having you on board us today to Sydney. At the moment we are awaiting final confirmation that everybody is on board and all the cargo is loaded up. We should be expecting a slight delayed departure out of here due to the boarding congestion just now. We should be expecting departure in about 10 to 15 minutes from now. We sincerely apologize for that. Some information for you, flight time to Sydney this afternoon, expect to take approximately 6 hours and 14 minutes, quite fast because our nice strong tailwind to push us southeast bound all the way to Sydney. We'll be flying southeast bound over the Java Sea, and we're flying Surabaya and Malaysia, and entering crossing the Timor Sea all the way to entering Australia via Broome and via Alice Springs all the way to Sydney. Weather-wise, looking at generally a smooth condition for our flight today. Having said that, do have your seatbelt fastened wherever you are seated due to any unforeseen turbulence. Do sit back, relax, enjoy the flight, and trust that you will settle in nicely and comfortably soon as we on our way in about 10 minutes time. Thank you very much for flying with Scoot, and I wish you a very pleasant flight.
Great to hear, such a perky pilot. Right, time to leave the clear blue skies of Singapore and get out over the straits as we get full welly on the Rolls-Royce Trent 1000s. Now you may be wondering why I chose Scoot, and I must admit I'm already wondering it too. The only real perk you get on the flight is, if you book with Singapore Airlines, you get booked into the Fly Bag Eat bundle, which includes a meal, drink, snack and bags checked in all the way, including a connection with Singapore Airlines. And to say thank you, the airline gives you a complimentary blanket. Well, at least the cat's going to be very grateful. Heading now over Bintan Island, and I'm starting to get a tad on the peckish side. After all, I've been up since crack of sparrows looking at butterflies and waterfalls. So what have we got here? It's the famous, the infamous Scoot snack bag. You can't choose the snacks, it's a random assortment, which is there for your surprise. But spot the wacky inclusion of Milo powder. I did wonder just what to do with it in the absence of water or milk to see if it's up to snuff. I'd reckoned without the glory of the Pokemon plane with warm Pokemon milk. Trust me, the cups are treated as rare souvenirs and collectors will bid for one without limit, and Scooter milking it for all it's worth. But it's working. Scoot is that rarest of things, a low-cost long-haul airline that's actually making some money. Scoot, of course, barely known in Europe, it axed one of its 2 routes within a year. It did briefly fly to London Gatwick, but now the only EU route starts in Berlin before the 787 briefly touches down to pick up some more passengers in Athens and then goes on to Singapore. However, the airline has been adding quite a few routes around Asia and Australia. Little to do on the plane. There is entertainment though if you connect to the Wi-Fi on the plane. In ScootPlus you get a voucher for 30 megabytes of internet, which is pretty much enough for accessing one Scoot webpage to complain about how slow the internet is. If you actually want enough internet to be useful, it's $55 a pop. The net connection, in the briefest blip you get before you use up all your allocation, is like going back to the dial-up era, you know, where you have 5 minutes to drink your Pokemon milk before seeing the page load. Scoot clearly don't want to indulge you. Scoot also offers an in-flight map and half dozen games which belong to an era way before dial-up. There are, of course, no in-flight screens. Remember, it's a no-frills carrier. So after minutes on board, you're back to the old favourite of a low-cost, no-frills airline of trying to work out if you can stomach forking out for grub. Pun very much intended. But in the business class Scoot Plus, you get one meal for free. In theory, you can order it when you book, but as the crew apologised, Singapore Airlines IT has got a bit of an attitude problem with Scoot's IT, and they never talk to each other, and hence the orders are never transferred. Still, never mind, if you're in Scoot Plus, you instead get the default meal. That's right, you can't choose from the menu card in the seat pocket even if you wanted to. Although, as I've tried some of these concoctions before, trust me, you probably don't want to. Instead, I had to wait for the only standard meal to appear for what the crew assured me would be my delight to entertain and amuse me. It's Chinese-style roasted chicken thigh with fluffy quinoa pilaf rice, all on a Pokemon-themed tray. Sadly, the chicken lost its thigh in vain. To my utter delight, I'd moved onto the cowl that's got the cream with chocolate ice cream, which was very good. You could, if you want to, go veggie, but I didn't, as I'd had it before, and try the pumpkin pasta with a mushroom. I was keen, very keen by that point, to check out the in-flight bar. There was Japanese Yabishu beer, which is Sapporo's premium brand of lager, very hoppy and very, very lively. And then I settled in for hours as we headed to Australia with no entertainment, no complimentary bar, and well, a plane that felt like I'd gone back in time to how air travel used to be done. Having a look back at economy, I was partly grateful that I'd forked out for a double price ticket for an extra 7 inches of legroom and a free chicken thigh and a blanket. Now, with nothing much else going on, it was time to find another $10 for a plastic bottle of wine. The bottle is plastic, not the wine, as is a cup. It comes in a sealed unit as wine to go, and it's Italian Villa Cardini Bianco, my favourite. All of €1.95 down Lidl for a big bottle, and that's saying something. It has a kind of chalky, weathered rock flavour.
But passports were not shown. If they wish to use the toilet or the bathroom are by absent, this is an important message from the Australian government.
The crew kept us eloquently informed that thank goodness we'd be getting out of this plane in an hour, so time to ease my seat out of the tiny bit of recline it had and fold away that premium perk of a leg rest. Also to unplug the at-seat power. Now, you've got to enjoy that in ScootPlus. In the cheap seats at the back, Scoot actually charge real money to turn on the at-seat power. I kid you not. And there we go, the bright lights of Sydney are tantalising us over the horizon with that forbidden promise of what we've been denied for so long, like entertainment and wine with flavour. Despite having Singapore Airlines as its parent company, it's clear the influence of that airline's famous service is not really apparent on this flight. After the meal service, the crew were pretty much absent, with no further offers of water or anything else for the rest of this daytime flight. And I started to contemplate ScootPlus. Now, the price for a premium seat just can't be beaten if you book a long time in advance and over the Scoot website. Don't do what I did, which was book it as part of a flight with Singapore Airlines, where the real premium economy on a real carrier was all of £14 more. Equally, Scoot really know how to charge if you buy it at the last minute, just for that rare perk of an included meal. Now, you can, if you want to, book this flight at up to a year ahead to get that premium economy seat, but not a lot else, for around €800 all the way to Sydney. That's a bargain. But if you buy it at short notice, then you pay a lot more just for that perk of some food. But for the money, booking a few weeks out for what was promised as an upside Scoot business class experience is only delivered if you haven't tried a proper carrier. Although admittedly, even Singapore Airlines' real economy has gone downhill over the past couple of years. But Scoot got me to Australia in one piece, in an okay and certainly a larger seat than in economy, and on time. It's okay, but you've got to know what you're in for.